wish the United States well just south of the border.
Yeah, Mexico is a huge trading partner, and also what people don't fully appreciate is that it's not as if we simply buy some stuff from Mexico and sell some stuff from Mexico. Because of NAFTA over the last 20 years, we've created a completely integrated supply chain between us and Mexico. And so, for example, the automobile industry, one of the sources of our many of our imports from Mexico, you'll see parts going back and forth across the Mexican border multiple times in the course of assembly as companies optimize their supply chains and do some things in the U.S., some things back in Mexico. And so for us to get into some kind of an economic war with Mexico is terrible for Mexico economically, but it's also terrible for us. And you've seen this in the reaction of the business community to what the president's been doing.
Well, you know, President Trump's been promising relief for American farmers who obviously are getting hammered every day because of the president's trade war with China. And on Saturday, he tweeted that Mexico would be coming to the rescue. Writing in all caps, Mexico's agreed to immediately begin buying large quantities of agricultural products from our great patriot farmers. But three Mexican officials told Bloomberg Saturday they weren't aware of any side deals. John Meacham, this is again, I wrote in the Washington Post last week, the importance of separating the signal and the ground noise. These tweets, these false claims, all ground noise, all intended to make the president look tough to his base, to Mexico, and yet so many of these claims are nothing more than Donald Trump falsehoods.
Yeah, I continue to think that we may look back on the Trump presidency as the presidency of Admiral Boom. Remember the guy who lived next door to Mary Poppins, who had the ship on top of the house, and he thought he was still in the Navy, and so he'd fire the cannon off at cocktail hour, and everybody sort of humored him. Oh, it's Admiral Boom again. That's kind of where we are, right? I mean, we've sort of child-proofed the presidency in terms of the USS McCain. You know, we give him all this room, but Richard would know more about this than I would. I continue to think that foreign leaders must look at this presidency in the way we used to look at particularly unstable regimes. And you just have to pick and choose, and you figure out who's going to be here for the long term, who's not going to be here as you negotiate and try to deal with this. And why would any foreign power take him at face value?
Yeah, there was an interesting piece in the New York Times about it where they quoted the president's book that he likes to keep people off balance by being unpredictable. And there's only two problems with it. One is our allies, by definition, they count on our predictability and reliability. That comes with being an ally. And adversaries, I think you're right. Increasingly now, they're basically saying they can challenge us. They don't have to take it that seriously. So rather than deterring, the danger of this kind of unreliability is that actually it will encourage challenges against this country.
Yeah. Well, and the inconsistency, Caddy, is impossible for our allies to keep up with. Of course, the president spent the first couple of years attacking our democratic allies across Western Europe. This past week, he was actually quite gracious to France and other Western European allies. And then he turned his rhetorical fire south of the border to Mexico.
Yeah, it's interesting. Looking at the Mexican press this weekend, they have a very different